I want to go to the movie What Killed Michael Brown. I know you're very proud of it. You got to be very, very proud of Eli. This is a remarkable exploration into one of the greatest lies that was ever perpetuated upon the American people, and that is that claims circulated that Michael Brown had been holding his hands up and yelling, "Don't shoot," at the time of his death. Turns out, the narrative completely fell apart, and eventually Obama's own Justice Department concluded that the police officer, Darren Wilson, shot Michael Brown in self-defense after Brown attacked him and reached for his gun. But ultimately, to this day, I guarantee you, there are millions of Americans who don't know that that's what happened.
That's absolutely right. There are. But it's an example of what we call, poetic truth. It is a narrative, a storyline that you develop that brings you power. And so the poetic truth of Michael Brown is that he was a victim shot by a racist white cop, because racism is still systemic in American life. And that white America owes black America all sorts of things. You can sum up by saying reparations of one kind or another. So it's a version, a poetic truth where you use poetic license to fudge things, change things around to support the idea that blacks are still victims and deserve all sorts of special. That becomes our source of power. Rather than invent something or do well in business or conquer this, we come up with a poetic truth that uses our victimization as a way to get things in American life. Our victimization is what makes us powerful, not our creativity, not other things. And so Michael Brown, George Floyd, all of these, Trayvon Martin, all of these instances are really come down to being power grabs. They all support this idea that racism is systemic. It isn't. There is not systemic racism in America. But you're right to say, look how many Americans buy into this and believe this, even when the facts just stare them. Michael Brown precipitated his own death. He attacked the policeman. He hit him in the face with his fist. He wrestled him in his car for the gun. Michael Brown was 300-pound, 18-year-old teenager. So finally, he runs away, he runs back. Finally, in self-defense, the policeman fires his gun and shoots him.
And that got conflated, there was a narrative that emerged from that was so wrong. It was as wrong as what we saw last week in Columbus, Ohio, Shelby. We watched a police officer save a young girl's life. We watched an officer literally prevent a human being from being stabbed by a raging, frankly, disturbed, violent woman who was wildly trying to plunge a knife into people. And even when people saw the video, they condemned that officer, Shelby.
Yeah. They think that's where their power is, in the white racism. So they, again, a poetic truth that he was a racist and the girl he killed was a victim. She was a perpetrator. She was about to commit murder.
Right.
As you say, it's absurd. You don't see what you see.
Yeah, don't believe your lying eyes.